Hello, fair folk of the internet, what's up? It's the Nature of Pages, and today we're going to be doing something a little unusual. I actually haven't seen any video like this. I have become obsessed with a new video game, which I'm not really a video game player. I got an Xbox so I can play with my friends at college, since we're all split up now, and I have become obsessed with this video game. It is unlike anything I've ever played before, and I just really enjoy it, and I already have 36 hours on it, which probably isn't much for like a gamer, but it's a lot for me because I'm not a gamer, so it's been a lot of fun and really addicting. And that game, my friends, is called Stardew Valley. It's so much fun. For those of you who don't know what Stardew Valley is, it's basically a farming simulator where your character leaves their job in corporate America and comes to live on a farm after a midlife crisis. And you're trying to befriend, there's like 30 villagers that you can befriend and townspeople. There, you can fish, you can mine, and fight against these little aliens. But they're cute aliens. And you can even marry one of the villagers if you want. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I'm actually wearing what my character is wearing in the video game. That's me. Pretty cute, if I do say so myself. I actually tried to dye my hair purple for this video, so that way it would match my character. But obviously the dye didn't take and it all washed out. Also, I'd just like to say how tall this backdrop is. I'm standing on my tiptoes. This is actually how tall I am. So I'm just standing on my tiptoes. So what this video is going to be is book recommendations based off of your favorite Stardew character. Now, I don't actually have all of the characters in here because there's a lot of them. There's like 30. I couldn't think of any when I was trying to look through them. So I have 13. I have 13 characters that you can choose from as your favorite characters and giving book recommendations. Yeah! Some of us have definitely already read all of these books before, and I'm sorry if that's the case, but I just really went for books that seemed fitting to the characters, and yeah, let's get started. So first on our list is Alex, because I'm going alphabetically. So Alex is this jock of Stardew Valley. He plays something called Gridball, which I don't exactly know what it is, but he's into it. It sounds kind of like football. He also, he's really easy to befriend because he's right in the middle of town. He's kind of got a sad backstory if you actually befriend him and get into it, which I wasn't expecting. A lot of these characters have backstories like that are pretty deep that I wasn't expecting for this game, but they are. So I was trying not to be that booktuber and recommend this book in every video, but I am gonna be that booktuber and recommend this book. So for Alex's book recommendation is Percy Jackson. Now hold up. I think this fits him because he admits he's not very good in school. And we've got that comparison with Percy going. And he kind of just looks a little bit like him. I don't know if I'm making sense. But if you play the book, you get the vibe. He would like Percy Jackson. He's one of those kids that would like Percy Jackson. And it fits. And I could totally see him digging this book. So for Alex in Stardew Valley, I'm saying the Percy Jackson. Next on our alphabetical list of Stardew Valley characters is Abigail. Now, I don't actually know much about her except for she really likes the purple amethyst that you can give to her. But yeah, I do know that she's rumored to be the illegitimate daughter of the wizard and her mom, which is an interesting side plot to the game. Overall, she seems really kind of whimsical and mystical. Overall, like really cool, really chill vibe. And she is the drummer for Sam and Sebastian and their band. So yeah, the three of them hang out all the time. So for her, because, you know, mystical and whimsical and the cool hair and all that, I am going with Strange the Dreamer. Strange the Dreamer because it is set in a fictional land that she would like. It's got all the kind of like magical elements. It's just really cool and it really fits. Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor fits her so well, I think, in my opinion. You get the sense that Abigail would survive really well in this world. So I think that this definitely matches, and so if Abigail is your favorite character in Stardew Valley, you should definitely read Strange the Dreamer. I should really just tilt the camera down, but the thing cuts off right here. I should just wear heels. That would be a better idea. Next on our list is Eliot. He is the writer of Stardew Valley, and he writes fiction books and lives on the beach of the town. You can always find him there walking around for inspiration or working on his novel, which he writes actually depending on your choices. You can say what kind of novel is your favorite, and he ends up writing that one. And so it's really cool. If you're friends with him, you get this really cool cutscene where he has a book reading and actually gets to read a chapter of his book out loud at the local library and museum, and he thanks you for being an inspiration, which is really cool. I haven't actually gotten to it yet, but I'm hoping to, and I'm set. So for several reasons. First of all, because he strikes me as one of the people who would really like classic books and mythology, and also he has the long hair, and he strikes me as someone also who like the poetry type books and stuff. So for him, I have Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman, because it totally would be something he would read, and it would totally be something he would write too, let's be honest. Especially with Neil Gaiman's kind of prose poetry type style writing. I don't think that made sense at all. Those are not syllables. And it's got the kind of classic aspect to it, but also it's written in a kind of modern way, and so I think this would be perfect. And so if Eliot is your favorite character from Stardew Valley, I totally recommend Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman. Okay, so next up on our list of characters is Emily. She has really cool blue hair and also is into like faraway lands, and I don't actually know her very well, but I've looked up a lot of stuff, so I feel like that counts. What I've gotten is that she is a bit out there and also enjoys adventure and exploring and stuff like that. So I thought perfect for this is Welcome to Night Vale, which is the book version of the popular podcast. It follows one of the main characters, Jackie. She is one of the characters in Night Vale. I don't know if she's actually in the podcast. I've only listened to 2 episodes. But it was a really interesting novel, and it's so wacky, but in a brilliant sense. Like, you just kind of gotta roll with it. Like, they'll say stuff, and you accept it. But it's really intriguing and was a really fun read, like just genuinely fun and enjoyable to read. I loved it. If Emily is your favorite character, you will like Welcome to Night Vale. Would you guys like to see what I'm now using in order to fit behind this? I'm wearing my high school prom shoes. They've got the biggest heel I have on them, so that way I can fit in the screen. Next on our list of townsfolk is Haley. She is one of the wealthy, kinda stuck up girls of Stardew Valley, and honestly, I don't like her very much. I haven't gotten to the point in friendship where she's actually nice at all, and so I kind of gave up on her a little bit, but we'll see later in the game. I might try to befriend her more. But for right now, she's just kind of mean. And so, but I know that later on she chills out. I just haven't gotten there yet. She's also really into photography, which I will give her that. That's pretty cool. And you can see her walking around with her camera, but then she ignores you while she's walking around with her camera. So make of that what you will. So for Haley, I chose The Bells. I don't actually have a physical copy of this book, so you can stare at the wonderful digital cover. The Bells was really good. It was really such a rich world that you can get into. And it was also a really cool concept. I read it on the last time I was on a plane, and it made me forget I was on a plane. It was that good. And so you are invited to join in this world where beauty is made by the bells. And it's set in New Orleans, but it's like fantasy New Orleans with magic. And it is awesome. And it's so cool, but it's also very beauty oriented and discovering self-worth and going against the rules and everything like that. And I think it fits Haley perfectly, even if I don't like her that much. I did like this book, and I'm willing to give her a chance. So for Haley, I would recommend The Bells. Okay, so for our next character, his name is Harvey. He is the town doctor of Stardew Valley. He is very shy and very sweet, and one of my friends is trying to marry him right now. So I've gotten a lot of texts about cutscenes and stuff like that. So I do know a bit about him. There's a really cool cutscene at the end. I won't spoil it, but there's a really cool cutscene that you get if you try to marry him, and super cute, and I stan a lot. He's really passionate about keeping everyone healthy and safe. He's just really adorable. Not my type, but really adorable. He's also a bit analytical and trying to figure out doctor-y stuff. Obviously, I am not into doctor-y stuff because I call it doctor-y stuff. But for him, I think because of his personality and what he'd like and what he'd be into, and I know this is a middle grade book, I am saying Mysterious Benedict Society by Trenton and Stewart because of all of the different like riddles and thinking, and the main character Rainy reminds me a little bit of him if like Rainy grew up and moved to a town of 20 people and became a doctor. I actually have 2 copies of this book, one from my childhood because I grew up chanting the creepy riddles on the playground because what children don't do that. And then I also have this book copy, which was sent to me by Novel Publishing. It was really cool, and it's super cute, and I love the new hardback covers, so that's awesome. So yeah, for Harvey, I would recommend Mysterious Benedict Society. Even though it's middle grade, it's still so good, and you're trying to figure out what's happening, or you're trying to figure out what will happen the entire time, and it just keeps you on your toes, and I love it a lot, and so I definitely recommend it if you haven't read it and your favorite character is Harvey. Go read Mysterious Benedict Society. Next on our fabulous cast of Stardew characters is Leia. She is the local artist who is kind of afraid of putting her own work out there, which is very relatable. But she's a sculptor and an artist, and she's very hesitant about sharing her work. But she's really sweet, and if I'm not mistaken, she can be a little snarky sometimes, I think. If I remember correctly. I'm pretty new to this game, but I already love it, so don't roast me if I'm wrong. But anyway, because of how nice she is and kind of afraid of putting her work out there, there's a few cutscenes with that, I am saying her book is Eliza and Her Monsters. Eliza and Her Monsters is about this girl who runs a very popular webcomic under an alias, and because she is afraid of people knowing who she really is. And basically it's her interacting with fans and falling in love with one of the fans, and it's just a really awesome book. But it reminds me a lot of Leia, especially in the aspect of kind of being afraid to put yourself out there in art and in the magic of seeing what happens next. So for Leia, I am definitely saying it is Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. So our next one is Moreau. I think that's how I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce her name. Moreau? I apologize if I'm pronouncing it wrong. I'm pretty sure it's Moreau. Anyway, so next on our list is Moreau, and she is Sebastian's stepsister and very much into space and robots and science, which I admire a lot. She works with her father, Demetrius, on experiments, and she also works/interns with Harvey at the doctor's office. She's very geeky in a fantastic way that I admire. I wish I could be that good at science and math. I'm not. And there's one really cool cutscene where she builds a robot, which sounds really interesting. I've read the cutscene. And so because she's so into space and mechanics and machines and robots, I am suggesting Illuminae. Would it really be a Nature Pages book recommendation video if I didn't include Illuminae somewhere? I tried my hardest to include Tweet Cute in this review, and I just couldn't find a character that worked with Tweet Cute. So please know, I tried to work Tweet Cute in here because those are the 2 books I always recommend, Illuminae and Tweet Cute. Just couldn't fit it in. So for Moreau, it's Illuminae, which is a fantastic book about space and crazy AIs, and it's told entirely in reports, documents, instant messaging, and the AI file database. And it is amazing. Holy cow. It's so well written, and I really love everything about it. And it really does remind me of Moreau in the fact that it's got all that going on, and I think it's a book that she personally would love. And so, Illuminae from Moreau. For Penny, I really thought long and hard about this one. It's kind of hard to think of one that quite fits her. I almost worked Tweet Cute in there, but I don't think it has similar enough vibes in order to truly like be the book I recommend for Penny. I take this very seriously, obviously. After a lot of thinking and brainstorming and discussing it with my friends who also play Stardew Valley, I eventually chose 1,000 Perfect Notes by C.G. Drews because it's got very similar feeling and emotions to it, especially when you consider who Penny's mother is and who she lives with. I'm not a Pam fan, just saying that right now. 1,000 Perfect Notes is about this pianist in high school whose mother basically forces him to be a wonderful piano player, and it's his passion, and he loves writing music, but lives in a very toxic household and meets this girl named August at school who kind of opens him up a little bit, and it's a fantastic book. I cried while reading it at the end. I actually cried several times. I was at sleepaway camp, and the counselor walked in to find me sobbing on my bunk bed and was very concerned, and all I said was like, this book, and it was an awkward time for all. But nonetheless, it was a very deeply moving book, and it gives off some of the similar vibes of Penny, though not in that extreme. And so I really think overall the entire vibes of the book match with Penny's. So definitely recommending 1,000 Perfect Notes by C.G. Drews for those whose favorite character is Penny. Okay, so this one was also a bit of a hard one. I thought about this for a while, couldn't really decide. I thought about what characters have personalities like Sam, and so I think I've got it with this one, but I might be wrong. So feel free to leave in the comments if Sam is your favorite character, if you liked this book, if you've already read it, or if you think I'm wrong completely and you have another book recommendation for those who like Sam, because I might not get this one right. But I'm never, ever, 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 ever gonna get this title right in my life. I say it wrong every single time, the first time I say it. I say Scythe. I've been informed multiple times that that is not correct. It is Scythe. Scythe is what I say, but I know I'm wrong, so Sith. Well, that just sounds like I'm saying like Sith Lord. I know that word, my friend taught me it. I've never seen Star Wars. Anyway, Sith by Neil Shusterman is what I recommend for Sam because the main character, Rowan, reminds me very much of Sam. I don't know how much they look alike, like physical appearance, but his personality reminds me of Rowan. If he was set in this world, this would be Sam in my opinion. And so I actually haven't read the sequel or the third book yet, which is very sad because I really did love this book, despite my lack of knowledge on how to pronounce it. I really did enjoy it, and I feel like Sam would be one to enjoy this type of genre, and this would probably be right up his alley because it is set in that fantasy world that's kind of like our own, but not quite. I wouldn't call it high-end fantasy, and I wouldn't really call it urban fantasy because it's so different. It's dystopian fantasy, I would say. Yeah, I'll call it dystopian fantasy, but I think that he would enjoy this type of book, and especially with the scenes that we see of him and Sebastian playing, I forget what it's called, but the Dungeons and Dragons sequence, basically. I think he would enjoy it. For fans of Sam, I'm going to recommend this book by Neil Shusterman. Okay, this one I am so certain that I'm getting right. I really hope I'm right. I feel like I'm right. So for Sebastian, our resident introvert, computer geek, soft boy, I have Warcross by Marie Lu. And this is why. Because it is all about technology, and he is a computer programmer, and also it's in a fantasy world, and we've seen that he likes fantasy through the Dungeons and Dragons scene, and I really feel like he would enjoy this world and get sucked into it, and it would be one that kind of like his space comics that he reads, and so I'm pretty certain on this one. Also, it has such a cool cast of characters and like team, but also the main character is a bit of a loner, and so it fits perfectly in my opinion. I'm just so excited for this one. I am so nearly certain. I don't want to say I'm 100% certain because I'm sure there's going to be someone who's like, I've read Warcross and I like Sebastian and I hated it. Which, fair enough, but I'm pretty certain that this would be a good one for Sebastian. And so I really hope I'm right. So if you like Sebastian and you've read Warcross, let me know what you think, if my theory is correct, my hypothesis. But yes, if Sebastian is your favorite character in Stardew Valley, I recommend Warcross by Marie Lu. There we go. There's without the glare. Yeet. I did just say yeet. Yes, you did hear me say that. And so for our last main character, we have Shane, who has a very intense and deep backstory and cutscenes, which is really interesting. He works at the local Joja Mart, which is basically like the corporate business that is taking over America. And he works there and hates his job. He drinks a lot. You can always find him at the saloon every evening. And you befriend him by giving him pizza and beer. And so, but he's got a really interesting story that you get to experience if you befriend him. And I know a lot about him because one of my friends married him. So I got a lot of screenshots and a lot of screeching and flailing. I originally had Hunger Games because of Haymitch. Because he reminded me a little bit of Haymitch, but like younger and not as traumatized. But I had to scrap that because I feel like nearly everyone's already read Hunger Games, so that's not really a book recommendation. That's like everybody's already read this. And then I said Radio Silence, and now I finally decided, and I'm going to go with The Giver. So first of all, it's kind of like a depressing world. At the beginning, you're stuck in this colorless society, and it ends with hope, and it's kind of depressing at the beginning. So I think it fits very well. It took me a while to get there, but I finally got there. I had a list of a whole bunch of books that might fit his, and this is what I finally decided on. So for Shane, I'm saying The Giver by Lois Lowry. And I know that's the main 12, but I have a bonus one. While he's not actually my favorite character, I couldn't resist adding this one in, and this one is for Clint, who is the local blacksmith. And he works with all the metals, and he enjoys them as presents, and basically anything metal he will work with. And so he seems kind of shy and a little bit depressed, and but he helps me upgrade my tools, and he cracks open the geodes for me, so I like him. And I couldn't resist, but for Clint, I am saying Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson because their powers are based off of metals. I just couldn't resist. This would be the perfect book for a Clint character. And so if your favorite character is Clint, I definitely recommend you read Mistborn. It's perfect. So there you have it, folks. That is the book recommendations based off of your favorite character in Stardew Valley. I hope I'm right. If you have any suggestions for other book recommendations for your favorite characters, leave them in the comments. I totally want to know. My favorite character is probably either Sebastian, Eliot, and Leia. So and Marnie. I didn't include her on this list, but I do like Marnie. Let me know who your favorite characters are. I'm really interested. I don't actually know if this video is gonna get any views because it's such like a small topic, especially already in the book community. So we'll see. But with everyone playing Animal Crossing right now, I figured I'd give it a shot. And so I am currently obsessed with this video game. I've already logged 36 hours. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments. And with that, it's time for me to make like a tree and leaf. Nature Pages out. Bye! I can't reach the camera. There's a couch in front of me. I say Scythe. It is Scythe. Scythe. Anyway, Scythe by Neil Schuster. Scythe by no. For fans of Sam, I'm going to recommend Scythe. Did I say it right? Scythe? Scythe? Scythe?